Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Amy Downs. I'm the Communications Director for Allegheny County. This is a Teams press conference, So I want to remind everybody, if you have questions for us, please submit them using the Q&A feature on Teams. You're also welcome to text me. That number and information is in the media advisory that was sent out earlier. We'll be starting just in a few minutes with County Executive Rich Fitzgerald.
Whatever. Good afternoon. It's good to be with you, and this is a historic week here in Allegheny County. And I can tell you for the last year, I don't think I've done many press events that literally haven't been about COVID, so this is not. But earlier in the week, we found out that Allegheny County, for the first time, reached attainment levels with air pollutant members that were listed by the EPA for the first time in our history in every single monitor in Allegheny County. And we said at the time that that was a great achievement to get there, but we weren't done yet. We were going to continue to do things to improve our environment, to improve the climate, and the climate change is something we are taking very seriously and something that we are dealing with. So today we're making an announcement that we are going to continue to use our natural resources, and we've used them in our history to do so many things. Well, we're going to use our rivers, but we're going to use our rivers to produce electricity. We are going to use our rivers at the Emsworth Lock and Dam to power the buildings and the facilities that we have here in Allegheny County. So we're going to be locally producing the energy, the electricity energy that's going to run our facilities in county government. Local jobs will be produced. And when you think about what President Biden has laid out in his announcement just yesterday regarding dealing with climate change and dealing with our environment, he's talking about making improvements to reduce our carbon footprint, to produce energy that does not affect the climate, and also to provide jobs for people that will be produced in doing those things. So we've decided that we are going to have a hydro plant. We're going to partner with Rye Electric, and you're going to hear in a few minutes from Paul Jacob from Rye. And this is something that we have been working on for a couple of years. And I want to thank the University of Pittsburgh, who began this process for their buildings on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh when they decided a couple of years ago that they would produce electricity using the power coming through the Highland Park Dam. So for the last couple of years, our County Manager McCain, and his team here at the county have been working with doing just the same thing as that. And I want to thank the County Manager. I want to thank our Sustainability Director, Brittany Prishak, and also Jess Mooney, who have worked on this project and done a lot of good things. So what does that mean? What are we going to be reducing our carbon footprint, and how much power are we going to produce? And Paul can get in a lot of the technical details, but just let me give you a couple numbers that really matter. Every single year, we will be producing as much energy that would power 3,400 homes here in Allegheny County. Over the lifetime, we're going to be removing 1 million tons of carbon from our environment. That would be the same as if for the average car, not that it would drive that much, but for car mileage, 2.6 billion miles of cars driven by the typical car in our region. So these are things that are going to improve our environment, are going to improve climate change, and are things that we're making a commitment to do. It's a partnership. Obviously, we're going to talk with Rye, but also the Corps of Engineers. I want to thank them because you have to go through them and work with them in allowing us to use the energy that our rivers produce along the Emsworth Lock and Dam. These are things that we've been working on for a long time. We're part of the Green Building Alliance, one of the signature members back in 2012, and we're going to continue to do things that are going to make our environment more sustainable, make it better for the future, and we are investing in future generations in our environment to make the quality of life here in southwestern Pennsylvania and Allegheny County everything it can be. So with that, I do want to introduce Paul Jacob. Paul is the CEO of Rye Development, and Paul has been responsible for the project and the corporate development of the firm. He was the county's, the person we worked with. And again, this is the same company that's doing this work with the University of Pittsburgh. And I want to thank Paul for his level of cooperation and introduce and turn the podium over to Paul. Paul?
Great. Thank you, County Executive. I really appreciate having the honor to talk to everyone today, and I really appreciate the work that the County Executive and the County Manager and their staff has put into this project. When I first visited the County Executive, and this was going back, I think we first visited back in 2012 when this project was just starting out, and it's starting out basically as just a permit that we had filed with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. What we were met with was enthusiasm and support at that time, and we kept the development going, and really this has been a tremendous process over the last 2 years to get this contract put into place. This project and similar projects, we are developing other projects in the region, can't exist without offtake contracts. And this type of a contract is really a partnership in many respects, in that it allows us to go ahead and build these projects, get them financed, get them up and running. And it also does provide clean energy for the region, for the off-taker, as well as providing a piece of what is renewable infrastructure. Projects like these can last for 80, 100 years. I mean, these are very long-lasting things. And as a piece of construction, this is a large civil structure. So what we're really doing, if you step back and think about it, we're building what amounts to a 5 or 6 story building on the bottom of the river, right next to the dam. So it's a substantial undertaking that really is locally sourced. I mean, that has to be something that's done locally, performed locally. And again, it will just keep producing energy really for the foreseeable future. As we look at these types of projects, the region in southwestern Pennsylvania is unique in the country. There are tremendous resources because all of these rivers were dammed up for transportation and are largely still used for transportation. And that means that there's basically wasted energy flowing through each of those dams. And powering a dam like this is, as we hear, and certainly we say it, it's the low-hanging fruit. These are sort of the first things that can be done. There's minimal land use impacts. There's minimal impacts on the environment because the dam's already in existence. And as part of that, we've got to go through a commitment that we made to get these projects certified with the Low Impact Hydro Institute, which is a group that's been set up to really take an objective look at the environmental impact of these types of projects. And that's really a key part of this. But again, I really want to thank the county. Their support has been great and really is integral to really ensuring that we build these projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate your support and your work. Oh, now we're back. Okay. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the work and support working with the county manager and his team to really improve the environmental and economic climate of this region. We're excited the fact that there's going to be 150 to 200 construction jobs produced in the building of this power plant, and we appreciate you doing it. When we think of power plants, we think of different ways in which we've used fossil fuels over the years, and this power plant is going to again be using our river, the flow of the river over the dam to power and light our buildings in the county. So next, I want to introduce Joylette Portlock. Joylette's a longtime partner who I've worked with, and she's given a lot of really good advice and counsel for us on how to become more sustainable, how we can make sure that not only is our governmental structure sustainable, but how can we partner with other entities that we are with and utilize, our corporate community and others. Joylette is the Executive Director of Sustainable Pittsburgh. It's a nonprofit that works to advance sustainability policies and practices here in southwestern Pennsylvania, and we're delighted to have Joylette with us today. Joylette also serves on our Board of Health, the Allegheny County Board of Health, and has for a number of years. So Joylette, thank you for joining us today, and the podium is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, County Executive Fitzgerald. Thank you to all of the partners that have made this important announcement today possible. Thank you for the invitation to speak here today as part of this event. As is always the case, an announcement like this is really the culmination of long-term planning and forward thinking that's happened behind the scenes over time. It's a moment to celebrate, but it's an achievement really built over time. And I just wanted to start by acknowledging that. Sustainable Pittsburgh is an organization that works to promote decision-making that builds a fundamentally equitable, resilient, healthy, and prosperous region. In addition to programs like the Sustainable Pittsburgh Challenge, of which Allegheny County is a multi-time winner, Sustainable Pittsburgh has also historically provided information, tools, and resources on renewable energy. One such project, in conjunction with the CEOs for Sustainability Business Network and the Power of 32 project, was designed to promote a more resilient and clean energy system here in the greater Pittsburgh area through deployment of high impact, large scale renewable energy. And I mention this because the goals of that initiative are being met today, through projects like this that catalyze the development of new, cost competitive, low carbon resources that create jobs and innovation opportunities in the region that contribute to better air quality for our people. And that provide organizations like the county a singular opportunity to lead in the region's energy future. The benefits of a power purchase agreement like this are many: cost savings, risk reduction against market price increases, pollution reduction, and lastly, social leadership, because today's announcement is really about improving our region in tangible ways. We've long been known as a region that is an energy producer, and this 35-year agreement is a step forward, showing that there are, as was just discussed, untapped resources, right, that we can engage that make not just economic sense, but environmental sense and improve the quality of life and place. We know that any realistic plan to protect our region from the impacts of climate change must increase sources of renewable electricity production. This project is a thoughtful approach to creating a practical path to that end. Like other investments, and I use that word specifically, investment, because this really is an investment in a future, in a better future and future returns in the regions that have been years in the making. The county is today demonstrating what leadership and intentional effort look like when applied to our most pressing challenges. With this announcement, Allegheny County joins, as we've discussed, the University of Pittsburgh with its commitment to generate 25% of its electricity through a similar project. The Airport Authority with its 23 megawatt solar and natural gas microgrid, Community College of Allegheny County and its 540 kilowatt solar installation, and the Port Authority with its ongoing move to electric buses. I'm going to close my brief remarks as I opened by saying just that Sustainable Pittsburgh is happy to participate in today's announcement. True sustainability is about building the region to last, and we applaud the leadership that we're seeing here today to ensure a thriving future for the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Joylette. Your partnership is so invaluable for all of us to work. The work and the advice and counsel you give to the folks in our administration is so helpful. And you mentioned not just actually county governments, but some of the agencies like CCAC, the Port Authority, the airport, that are also engaged in projects that will lead to sustainability. And you've aptly said it. It's an investment. We are investing in our future. We are investing for the next 35 years, not only in the predictability of what our utility costs will be, but also in the quality of life that we all guard and value here in southwestern Pennsylvania and Allegheny County for our children, our grandchildren, on into the future. So thank you again for the great partnership. Next, let me bring another partner who's I've worked with again for many, many years from the Pennsylvania Environmental Council. They do so much work again to improve our quality of life here in the region. Worrying about, again, the environment and the resources that we have and how to use them in a sustainable and productive way. I'm going to introduce David Woodwell. And again, this organization's mission is to protect and restore the natural and built environments through innovation, collaboration, education, and advocacy. So let me turn the podium over to my friend David Woodwell. David?
Thank you, Rich. Hopefully this is being able to be heard. I want first echo everything that Joylette said, was wonderfully done, but also congratulate the county executive, the county, and Rye for getting this project going. We have at PEC had the pleasure of looking at low impact hydro over a number of years, looking at the opportunities in Pennsylvania, and clearly these lock and dam systems, where they're still very much in use, are a great place to take advantage of that power that's going through here all the time. So we're really excited to see the project move forward for that. But we're also, for PEC, this brings together a lot of things that we're looking at, but we're very excited about this project because we've been working for a number of years to look at decarbonizing Pennsylvania's electricity system, the generation, the use, the production, and really figure out how we get Pennsylvania to that goal of zero net carbon by 2050. It's a critical move. It's an existential question. And in Pennsylvania, it's a fascinating place to look at because of the amazing energy mix that we have in the Commonwealth, from nuclear to gas to coal, and these hydro opportunities and the solar and wind as well. And to do that, to get us to that decarbonization, takes a mix of practices, policies, and as seen today, projects. And we've been honored to work with a number of partners, including the county, Rye, other NGOs, state policymakers, other energy companies, to really see how you can best make this transition happen in Pennsylvania. Today's announcement is a clear example of getting more zero carbon generation into the mix in Pennsylvania. It's also an opportunity to make the policy stuff we talk about all the time real, to say to somebody that putting in energy generation on a dam in Pittsburgh really helps us get to these broader questions of climate. It really stands as a shining example of that we can push as we talk about these other pieces going forward. Deep decarbonization isn't going to be easy, but it will be the new jobs that have been talked about. It's going to be a change in the energy. It's going to be supporting new technologies coming out of the academic and the research centers in southwestern Pennsylvania as well. But future policies, future projects are going to be helped by policies in Pennsylvania, including things like Pennsylvania hopefully fully getting into the regional greenhouse gas initiative, something I think everybody who's spoken today supports, and getting Pennsylvania as a leader in that, as well as looking at other market-based programs going forward, but also the deployment of other carbon-reducing technologies, not just these things like run-of-river low-impact hydro, but also carbon capture and storage, solar and wind, and other projects that the county has pushed and will continue to push going forward. So for us, this is not only just about this project and the county's piece, but it's also emblematic of what has to be done across the Commonwealth. And again, just thrilled to be here and to commend the county and Rye on getting this project done.
Thanks, David, and thanks again for your support. And again, the advice and counsel working with PEC has been very helpful to not just me, but the entire administration. I also, it was mentioned earlier, Joylette mentioned, that the University of Pittsburgh has made this commitment a couple of years ago, and it really is a vision by Chancellor Gallagher and his team, and I want to commend him. We're okay with hearing good ideas and then trying to replicate them. We don't have to invent it. If we see good ideas, we're going to utilize them, and that was one of the ones we thought to do. It also is very coincidental that President Biden yesterday introduced his climate change plan, and again, we were working on this for a long time, but I was in contact with our congressional delegation, Congressman Doyle and Congressman Lamb, and I can tell you both of them were very excited that this is the type of projects that President Biden and his administration want to push. As David said, to be carbon neutral by 2050 is a goal to really do the things that we need to do to reverse some of the problems we're having with climate change, and this feeds right into that. So let me open it up for some questions that you may have regarding this project, and our panel will hopefully, myself or the panel will be able to answer the ones that you ask.
Our first question is from WESA. How many permanent, not construction jobs is the facility expected to create?
Yeah, the one thing, there will be, I mentioned the 150 to 200 construction jobs, but once the plant is up and running, it doesn't take a lot of input from personnel. We're talking only a couple, maybe 2 jobs, full-time permanent jobs that will be produced. The system, as Paul mentioned, is pretty self-sustaining and automatic. I don't know, Paul, if you want to add anything along those lines.
Yeah, sure. When you think about the jobs produced on any one of these facilities, it's in that range of, somewhere between, 1 and 3 positions in terms of full-time positions. But, we're building 10 of these projects in the region. So you add that up and it starts to become a more significant amount. But as important, they're indirect jobs that are created during the process of this kind of thing. And that's really, like any industrial facility, we've got to have contracts with outside providers to provide all sorts of services. And those range from, a very heavy amount of work that goes into taking organic and inorganic debris out of the river that happens on a daily basis to periodic help refurbishing equipment, all the systems that normally that any kind of a industrial facility has. So there is an indirect impact as well.
The next question is from the Pittsburgh Business Times. What is the cost of building the hydro plant and what is the construction timeline for building it out?
And again, I'll turn that over to Paul. We're signing a contract with for 35 years. They're building this plant and he could give some of those details. Paul?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when we think about the cost of building this is in the range of about $50 million. And there's some moving parts there, which we'll be nailing down over the next year. We're kicking off the design of the project shortly. And when we think about the time frame for construction, once it starts construction, it's a roughly 2-year time frame. It's pretty involved because in order to do that, what you're doing is putting coffer dams in the river to stop the flow of the river and constructing on the bottom of the river itself. So it's a pretty intense process.
That's it. Well, thank you. And again, any follow-up questions, please send them over. But we did get another question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amy.
I apologize. This next question is from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. How will the construction of the plant be funded? Will it produce all the electricity needed to power county government facilities?
And I'll answer maybe some of that. I believe yes, it will have enough power to produce all of the county facilities. But my understanding is, Paul, there may be excess amount that you'll be able to provide for other customers as well, but I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, so thank you. That's correct. The project will produce excess power that will be sold to other customers. When we look at the construction of these types of facilities, those are really funded mostly and for the most part. What we see with our projects will be through a partnership with a group called Climate Adaptive Infrastructure, which is a fund that is focused on an infrastructure fund focused on these types of projects. Typically, what will happen is that they'll also involve debt that's raised in the markets that is basically also used to fund that construction. So it's all of that is private money that's coming in to do that.
Okay. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining me. I want to thank my friend Joylette, my friend Davitt, who again been great partners for this region in helping us move forward with sustainability and improved environmental and dealing with climate change. Again, the county manager and Jess and Brittany, the work that they're doing. This is something we're going to continue to do, but this is really a landmark week for those of us here in Allegheny County, getting the attainment designation that we saw the other day, as well as making this investment, long-term investment in how we light and power our facilities using our natural resources without using fossil fuels. Congratulations to everybody and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for joining us. The press release will be issued to you momentarily, and as always, please feel free to follow up with any additional questions. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.